Welcome to the St. Charles County Correspondent. We're back on video again. Noah, it's good to be with you. This is our second attempt at doing this on the camera.
That's right, Sam. I think the first one was pretty well received, and we like to talk to the people where they are, and we have some good stories this week.
We do. The first one is one that you are familiar with because it's in your backyard. O'Fallon gets all the news in St. Charles County, but here it is: $168,000 lottery ticket was sold at the O'Fallon Quick Trip. Can you believe it? And what? How do you even? Frustrating. If you don't play, you can't win, though. No, that's the thing.
That's right, Sam. They say the lottery is a tax on the poor, but every once in a while somebody wins. So no, St. Charles County's been pretty lucky. We have this ticket, the $168,000 ticket that was just sold. It looks like it was released to the public that this was won this week, but it looks like maybe it was won like the third week of March or something. So this person's probably in the midst of collecting or has already collected. Of course, we don't know who it is yet. But hey, if it was you, contact us. We'll have you on the show. But if you remember just a few weeks back, Sam, at the Schnooks in O'Fallon, if I'm correct, maybe it was a different, maybe it was Schnooks elsewhere in St. Charles County. Yep, somebody won $1,000 a week for life. So there's a lot of lucky people in O'Fallon.
Well, so I have to ask the question: would you, Noah, take $168,000 today in cash, or would you take $1,000 a week for life?
What a great question. Yeah, I would probably try to do some rudimentary math to figure out at what point does $1,000 a week become $168,000. I guess at 168 weeks, right? How many years is that?
Well, you got
Three?
to imagine that you're drawing in a $52,000 a year salary, $1,000 a week for every year. So it would take 3 years for you to get to 158 million or 158,000. So
I would take the $1,000 weekly.
probably the smart role. Yeah, probably smart. Yeah,
yeah, and who I do like, especially I know that with the lump sums that taxes takes out, roughly 50% is what you hear. I do wonder how it works with like the $1,000 a week if they take out that full 50%, or since it's a lower amount each time, maybe they take out a little bit less. But I'd be interested to look more into that. But how about you, Sam? Which one would you do?
That's a good question. The number is just a little too low. 168. If it was $1 million, probably need to take that right up front because you earn 7% a year in interest anyway. So you're collecting 70
just
grand.
playing the market.
Right.
Yeah.
But 168 is a little too low. Once you get north of 700,000, I think the calculation changes a little bit. So I'd take $1,000 a week for life for sure.
Yeah, and this story, we've had a lot of community interaction with the story. Variously on Facebook, we had 300 likes and dozens of comments. People who are tagging their friends, trying to see if they're the ones who won, or maybe checking their tickets themselves. So congratulations to whoever won $168,000. Sam, our next story, you got to tell us about this. The largest private business investment in Missouri is happening in Wentzville. We already know that Wentzville is the fastest growing city when it just comes to people moving there and having babies. What are you talking about with the largest private business investment in the state?
Well, something that hit the news earlier this week, or perhaps a little later last week, a $1.5 billion investment is, where it is. It's the GM plant in Wentzville. GM announced that they're going to invest $1.5 billion in their mid-size pickup truck line. General Motors is putting $1 billion into the assembly line, and I guess the other half, another $500 million is going into the actual products themselves. But it'll be used to upgrade existing paint shops, body shops, general assembly areas, machines, conveyors, controls, tooling, and
all the things that make a car.
all the things that make a car.
Yeah,
the GM plant's been in Wentzville for 35 years. And of course, they build the Chevy Colorado, and the GMC Canyon, which are mid-size pickups. But they also make the Chevrolet Express and the GMC Savannah full-size vans. Ooh la la.
I like that name, the GMC Savannah. You should keep that one in mind. That's a good name for a car. I think, Sam, one of the things that's probably just luck, right? Because 35 years ago, I don't know if the situation is the same, but I know that trucks are the best selling type of cars in the country. and that even sort of sometimes during rough economic times, the sale of trucks stay really, really strong. So I think it's a good thing for
Yes.
Wentzville, not only that they have a car manufacturing plant, but that they're making these pickup
That's a
trucks.
good point. I'm going to read to your point. I'm going to read right from their press release. It says the Colorado and Canyon have helped cement GM as the industry leader and have been the most popular pickup truck company for 4 consecutive years, selling 600,000 more pickups than any competitor from 2013 to 2019. So
Wow, that's
it
interesting.
is interesting.
Man, I wonder. So they're, you gotta love PR people. I wonder how they're massaging that language. So what was their exact language that they sell the most trucks in
Right.
general?
You have most popular truck selling 600,000 more pickups than any competitor from 13 to 19. So they
Wow.
probably have been beat out in quarters or years, but 1 year they just,
Well, and I'm pretty confident that the best selling just vehicle overall is the Ford F-150, but
you think,
I don't think Ford has that as many successful, like, because I think the F-150 is considered a full size truck. So maybe
interesting.
when you add in the mid size and the small trucks, it sounds like
Are you saying it's the best
GM is in the
selling
lead.
truck of all time, or are you saying it's the best selling vehicle of all time, like the most popular?
So I'm pretty confident about this. The F-150 is usually year over year the best selling vehicle, including pickup trucks or cars.
Wow.
So just the best selling, like SKU, like brand name of a personal vehicle.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm not going to disagree with you. They're very popular. And
I wonder if was there anything in this press release, Sam, about electric vehicles? Because I know
they
that so many of these
did.
companies are trying to electrify their fleets in the next 10 years.
Yeah, so they're going it says at the end they're bringing new products to market, including new diesel and gas, but also special edition models like the Bison and the GMC Canyon AT4. They didn't mention anything about electric vehicles here at the GM plant in
I
Winston.
like the Bison. Do we know? Do you have any more
I
information on
have
the
no
Bison? That's
idea what
another
a
good name.
GMC Bison
Dude,
is.
they're doing a pretty good job
Somebody needs to look that up.
with the names.
If you drive a Bison, please let me know.
If you drive a Bison, or if you just sort of ride a Bison like from Yellowstone Park, just send us a picture.
Okay, so I'm looking at it. It's like a souped up GMC Canyon. It's like a really really wild truck. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway,
Listen, folks, on the audio podcast, you're not going to be able to tell this, but Sam just showed the camera a picture of this truck. It's kind of cool looking. Thank you, Sam.
well, it's like splashing through a river. That's how I get to work every single day is by splashing through a river in my Toyota Camry. But Noah,
If you could have like one, frivolous vehicle, could be sort of any vehicle you like, could be a sports car, a big truck. What do you think you would have?
it's a good question. I like the Hummers. You don't see any more of those on the road.
Wow, the Hummers. Yeah, they don't even make
They don't
Hummers
make
anymore.
Hummers anymore. I think that would be pretty cool. Yeah. But
Yeah,
speaking of roads
those are nice.
and speaking of bridges, can you tell us a little bit about what happened on last Tuesday? Prop R, uh, overwhelmingly supported across the county. It's not a tax increase, but it keeps the tax in place. Am I right?
Yeah, that's right, Sam. I guess you could say it's a tax reauthorization. So
Reauthorization.
every 10 years, the county votes on whether to sustain or end a half-cent transportation and sales tax for the next decade. The tax was originally enacted in 1985,
Really?
and this is the fourth time it's been reauthorized. And it was one of the most popular candidates who ran this election. It was approved by nearly 72% of the voters. A tax. Good for him.
Wow. I saw this is interesting. So whenever I see a tax on the ballot, immediately I'm like skeptical. And on hindsight, I can't. I don't think I voted for this, but St. Charles. I'll just be honest. St. Charles County Executive Steve Ellman says this is what the tax has done. Because of the continued support of our residents, the county has benefited from $1 billion in public transportation improvements, and this tax has built 1,110, very specific number, Noah, very weird,
Yeah.
1,110
very,
miles
very
in the
odd.
last 36 years. And I'll tell you, so the way that this money, so you're like, well, where does this money go? It actually goes to a commission. There's 12 people on this commission, and they decide where this funding goes. So it's interesting because I'd be curious to learn where does like the regular highway fund go? Like you would think that Public Works would have a say, but
Mm,
this, Noah,
sure.
12 people are deciding where $1 billion over 36 years goes. And It's interesting. So here's what they've done. Here's what they've done.
It's a 12-member citizen advisory commission. So these are not elected people. These are, I assume,
They're
appointed
appointed by the
by the county executive and county
yeah,
council,
that's right, and
maybe.
approved by county council. Yep.
Okay,
So
really?
they've done projects like Page Avenue, which is huge. I mean, that's the main project in the last
Yeah.
decade for St. Charles County. Page Avenue extension, the Guttermouth Road interchange, the Heritage Ramps. No idea where that is.
Do you know what that's referring to? The
I have
heritage
no idea.
ramps?
If you live near Heritage Ramps, please
Okay.
let us know. We're ignorant and apologize.
If you live under heritage ramps,
Yeah,
also let us
please
know.
let us know. And so here's where we're looking forward: projects like the David Hokel Parkway, which is out by me in Wentzville, going over 70.
Yep,
That's
yep.
what's being paid for now. The Route K and Highway 70 interchange, they're working on that, and the Mugi Road interchange and the widening of Highway 94. So, have you been to the Mid Rivers and 70 intersection where like you go on the wrong side of the road?
Yes.
So they're going to do that exact
Yep.
interchange at Mugi Road.
Do you know what that's called, Sam? In engineering, you know what that type of roadway is called?
No, I don't. What is it called?
It's called the diverging diamond interchange, and it's supposed to be people. These civil planners love it. It's supposed to be like the best, safest, most efficient thing. It definitely feels pretty weird the first couple times you do it,
How do
but
you feel?
seems generally
I'm
fine.
curious, how do you feel about the Highway 70 and K interchange? Because you live close to there. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, no, it's not good, and it gets really backed up.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's not good. Would I prefer one of the crazy diverging diamonds? I guess it'd be better than something sillier like a giant traffic circle.
That's what my
So
exit is on Piney Road.
that's right. Yeah, I don't. How do you feel about the traffic circle?
I've gotten used to it. I think I don't like how
Just don't like traffic circles.
it's wear and tear on your vehicle. I feel like because you're like slowing down and like leaning into the turn, but you
Yeah,
know,
until you get your Hummer and you can
just
just
right over the
go
top.
straight through the
I
middle.
haven't even come close to an accident though on a roundabout. So take that for what it's worth. I feel like if it is safer, I'll deal with the inconvenience of just like driving around in a
Yeah,
circle. But
Sam, I don't want to put you on the spot here, but do we know? I always assume this half-cent transportation sales tax. It's a half cent on a gallon of gasoline, right?
I have
Or
no
is
idea.
this
I
administered
wish
another
I
way?
knew.
Yeah,
This is somewhere, and I read the ballot language. I don't even think it was clear where that was, but it's coming from somewhere.
I think it's smart. And I know that obviously in 1985, when this was originally enacted, half cent, was worth a little bit more than it is today. But man, it's like just when you think about a half cent, it seems so insignificant that I think it's easy for a lot of people to to click
Right.
yes, to fill in the yes
Well,
bubble because you're like, am I really missing that? Especially since it's not clear how that half cent is always administered. I think a
exactly.
lot of people are just willing
They're
to
willing to spend
willing
it.
to do it.
Did you see on the ballot language that it said at the bottom in bold, like, this is not a tax increase?
Yes, yeah. Well, and if people saw any of the signs for Prop R, just the political yard signs, that's what all of them said. They said something like, "No new
Right.
tax, extend Prop
Extend
R,"
Prop R.
which is a funny right. Which I think probably made a lot of people think that voting for Prop R might have meant a tax cut, which is not true.
Mm.
It just meant extending, you know, the tax that we currently have. But yeah, well, Sam, thanks for doing the research on that. That's an interesting story. Every single week on the St. Charles County Correspondent podcast, and now in a video program, maybe we do a little segment we call the Weekly Smile, where we talk about something that's been making us smile. Sam, what's
I've
been
got
making
two
you
things
smile?
this week. No, I've got two things. I
Two
really
things.
enjoyed
Jeez,
the coffee
abundance of
debate
riches.
that we were a part of on the St. Charles County Correspondence Facebook page and also on the What's Going On in St. Charles Facebook page. Like 100 comments.
Mm,
People were really engaged. Shout out to Course Coffee in St. Charles. They won hands down. Then Picasso's came in second. That was fun. I like those. I think we need to do more of those, Noah, because people have opinions on local non-chain places. So
that's
Starbucks
right.
wasn't even on the
Agreed.
list. Here's the last thing. Albert Pujols hit a home run on Tuesday night. That was
Mm,
tremendous.
first
First
home
home run
run as a
in
Cardinal
like
again.
3,000 days. So great. I won't say anything more about that. Go watch the clip. It's on. I guess we'll share it. We need to share it. We haven't shared it yet, but go check it out. What about you, Noah?
That was
Yeah,
exciting to
what's going on
see.
with you?
Yeah. Uh, Well, Sam, over this past week on April 10th, the first Missouri State Capitol building in old downtown St. Charles
Yeah.
had a fire in it, and I don't necessarily it's not really disclosed how that fire started, but the St. Charles Fire Department responded quickly and put the fire out. We'll put some pictures of this of what the place looks like now on in our newsletter and on the website, but they say there is no irreversible damage to the building and no historic artifacts were
Mm.
damaged in the fire. So that's an exciting. It's sad there's a fire, but thankful. It makes me smile that the fire department was there quickly and that the building wasn't destroyed. Because an old building like that, I think maybe if the response time was a few minutes late, you're not going to be able to recover that building. So I'm glad that it's there after a little bit of cleanup. Our children one day will still be able to go to the
How
first
about
state
that?
capitol
Shout
building.
out to the St. Charles City Fire Department, I imagine. I don't think it was the county, it was the city, but shout out to
City.
them.
Yeah.
Well, folks, if you've enjoyed this episode of the County Correspondent, the St. Charles County Correspondent, you can follow us on Substack at sccc.substack.com. We'll send you one email a week. It's our weekly newsletter on Thursdays. But you can also follow us on Facebook. And if you like this podcast, you can leave it a review. And also, if you have any tips, we'd love to hear from you. It's scccorrespondent@gmail.com. Well, for Noah Brandt, this is Sam Saffo. We've enjoyed this episode. We look forward to seeing you next time on the St. Charles County Correspondent.